Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1980s.
Pretty soon we're gonna have a sticky wicket.
This is episode 233, recorded May 17th, 2023.
Gruesome Magazine.
You did it better.
Yeah.
Saying. Mm-hmm.
If you've seen this movie, I am your host, Jeff Mohr, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1980 and 1989. Each episode, my co-hosts, Bill Mulligan, Crystal Cleveland, and Chad Hunt, and I will tackle another classic or not so classic film from this radical, gory, influential, and gruesome decade.
We haven't had a loser yet, I don't think.
Oh, God. I can't remember the last time we had a winner.
It's kind of been going that way, but Decades of Horror.
This is the worst month ever.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It is. But the most fun, I think, maybe.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Sure. Decades of Horror and Gruesome Magazine are partnering with Play Now Media on several of their streaming channels. Decades of Horror 70s and 80s are on Wicked Horror TV and the Free Horror Channel, which are available on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, online website, and across all OTT platforms, as well as most on your desktop. Some of the brand new channels don't have their own website yet, but you can still get the apps at these sources. There's another one called Retro Horror for 70s, 80s, and 90s that is up and running on the Roku channel, and 70s and 80s should be on that one as well. All righty.
Oh, yeah. Should we mention 10 years? Gruesome. The cruise is coming
that's
out.
Right.
I just booked my cruise. So have y'all booked your cruises?
I have
you
not
listeners
yet.
out there, if you want to come, now's the time. It's in February, and I hope I'll see you there.
I think the early bird thing, isn't that by like May 26th or something?
Yeah, it's coming up.
24th.
May 24th. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's why I barely caught it too.
This will be out after that, but you could still book it, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's not actually, okay, so I found out today that the rooms that are at the special rate are almost all gone anyway. They're waitlisted, I think. So
good.
We needed a room for 3 anyway, so we still got a decent rate. I mean, I was shocked. I mean, the Royal Caribbean, the Allure of the Seas, I don't know if you've looked at the ship, but it is amazing. I mean, they have a Broadway show, Mamma Mia. It's like they've got all, I mean, it's pretty amazing. So I'm really excited about it, actually.
It fits an incredible number of people.
Just to explain this all out, Gruesome Magazine, or actually Horror News Radio, started 10 years ago. Their first episode was on the remake or reimagining or whatever your preference is of Evil Dead. And since then, they've expanded into Gruesome Magazine and all the Decades of Horror channels or podcasts. So all year through February, this Grue Cruise takes place in February 2024. And if you go to our website, gruesomemagazine.com, you can find a place to book it. So join all those who are going. If anybody's afraid of meeting me, I will not be there because
You're not gonna go. Oh,
I do family things every year, that year on the West Coast, so I'll be in the opposite place. Plus, I'm just a tad bit claustrophobic. Anyway,
You've watched Deep Rising too many times.
I really wish you guys should all go because I think it'll be great fun. All righty. And as the year goes by, we will be celebrating the 10th anniversary. Doc's got some giveaways set up and some other activities going on. So if you're not already a member of our Patreon family, then you might want to think about that, contributing as little as $2 a month and as much as you want to help pay for things like our hosting feed. And iTunes is not free, so yeah.
Well, yeah, and you've got StreamYard and all that stuff too, Jeff.
The different software and stuff like that. So Anyway, one of the things you get Decades of Horror come out usually the day, maybe 2 days after we record it, whereas it doesn't go public for about 12 days to 2 weeks, depending on the podcast. So you get those early. You'd get an email with a link. All right. Enough chattering around on this podcast. We usually start with some basic details of the film that we're going to cover, and then first impressions, and then we move on into a general discussion. Not always related to the movie, as you'll see in some of the feedback we get at the end of this episode. But first, joining us tonight is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl and co-host of the Gruesome Magazine podcast. Crystal, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Like I said, I really got excited about. Sorry, I got excited about booking. I didn't mean to trump.
Oh yeah. No,
but
cool.
I've actually never been on a cruise, so this is going to be my first
cool.
one.
Yeah,
So I'm happy. I mean, it's rained all day, but I had that little bright spot. So
Very.
I lead a very boring life. So
So 3 of you.
That's
so
what we
Mason's
hear.
going.
Oh yeah.
Did Mason finally commit?
Mason's going to go. He's gonna
All
go.
right.
Yeah,
Excellent.
he committed.
Nice.
So
Okay. Well, cool. It's good to have you here. And sorry you missed Zombie. I would have loved to hear your thoughts on the flying zombie skull.
oh
that
God.
came out of the green refrigerator.
We figured you're the only one that might have liked it. So.
Yeah, she would have loved it.
I did kind of like it. I did watch. I did kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie. But I like bad stuff. When it makes me laugh, then I'm okay with it. But then there's bad stuff that doesn't make me laugh, and I don't like it. Like a few we've had recently.
I enjoyed it. I even bought the Blu-ray. So.
Oh wow.
Of course he did.
Okay. Wow.
Of course I did,
Crazy
yes.
man. He's
Also-
a madman.
But wait, were those not the worst special effects? Sorry, ever the worst? No, I was wrong. This is the worst.
There you go.
Anyway, well, it's hard to tell because we'll get into that later. Also joining us is Chad Hunt, comic book artist, co-host of Decades of Horror, the classic era, and the 1970s. How you doing, Chad?
I'm drowning in a sea of terrible movies for the month of May.
Yes. Yes.
Along with Nessie. Yeah.
This is, we've got I think we have a feedback that suggests we should have called it the month of Mame instead of the month of May.
That's a good.
Because we did, first up was Frankenstein Island, second Zombie 3, and third is this one, which you guys know what it is already, but we'll get to it. And last but not least is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, and published author, and special effects guru. Did you remember a copy of the book this time, Bill?
No, I keep forgetting. I got to put a copy of the book
I should
right here.
I should just get mine.
I just need it.
Mine's upstairs.
Yeah. My wife is now running upstairs to go get it because she totally supports me in this madness all the way
That's
through.
sweet.
Very cool.
It is. Yes, and also you could say Bill Mulligan, a huge fan of cryptozoology and Nessie in particular. So if anyone should have loved this movie, it should have been me. And yet. Just want to thank my friend Jerry. And I just want to say, Jerry Chandler is a really, really good friend of mine and a really good guy. And it's a darn good thing, too, because otherwise I would have disowned him long, long ago.
This movie is not for the sane.
Well, guys,
Which is why
There's no well.
you know
about
what? No, so obviously
Okay, hold on.
I liked it. So I liked it.
Let's
Sure, of course you did.
Let's get to
I
first
like
impressions here.
trash.
So, at any
Rein us
rate,
in, Jeff. Rein us in.
this is a spoiler alert podcast, so the unexpected ending of this film will be revealed.
Oh, yeah. The shock.
may-
I
Oh,
did
God.
not see that coming.
You may or may not find out.
Are you talking
things
about like
you
the
never
cement egg
knew.
or?
I
I
don't
was
know.
traumatized
I don't
for
know.
days.
Why?
At any rate.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you.
Okay, it's a
We're
little.
getting
Can you
computer glare.
kind
We're
of
getting
tilt it
glare.
a little
Tilt
forward?
forward.
Yeah. There you go. Better. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
Closer to the camera, I think.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
RAUM. Ask for it by name. Oh, and look. Well,
I
it's hard
found
to
it
tell.
super
I
easy.
need better.
Just like
Yeah,
put
that's
your
very
name
To
easy
read?
to find.
Well, I haven't had the chance
I use
to
small
read
words.
it. I found it on Amazon.
You know what? As long as you bought it, whether you read it or not is,
I am going to read it when I have time. Jesus. It's been a rough.
Get off the back, Bill.
Couple of weeks.
What'd you think about chapter 11? I'm really.
I'll read it.
I would do that. I love you. I know it's good, Bill. I have faith in you. Total faith.
If I told you that there were characters based on each one,
what about that character name?
I would believe
it.
I would believe that, and I would be grateful and thankful.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Don't say that before you read it.
Yeah.
Move ahead. Our topic tonight is
there we go.
The Loch Ness Horror.
Okay.
And it just seems weird to me.
I thought it was called troll penis.
Spyglass. That's how we discovered this.
That's what it looks like.
Huh.
What, like what?
Troll penis.
It was called troll penis, aka troll penis.
Huh.
It actually looks a little like Cecil, a sea serpent, but that's.
Oh, wow! Yeah.
It was hard.
You know what it doesn't look like? It doesn't look like Scotland.
No. What? Oh no, we'll get into that. Never mind.
So it was hard to. I don't know when this movie came out. IMDb very firmly states it was released November 12th, 1982 in Colorado Springs. About half the sources say it was released in 1981. I noticed the copyright date on the title in the film is 1981, but that doesn't always mean anything in terms of release. So I don't know. Released in 81 or 82. Directed by Larry Buchanan. Written by Larry Buchanan and Lynn Schubert. The cast includes Sandy Kenyon, Mickey McKenzie, Eric Scott, Barry Buchanan, Carrie Lewis Scott, and Doc Livingston. Production company is Clan Buchanan. And we'll go through some of the credits. You'll understand why. But also Omni Leisure and distributed by M&M Films. It was filmed in Lake Tahoe, California.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly like Scotland. And the synopsis. An increasing number of people are dying in the dark waters of Loch Ness, victims of the famous monster. But what other mysteries does the loch hold? What about the monster's egg? The insane scientists will do anything to exploit it. The sunken Nazi plane near the monster's lair. Why will the military do anything to cover it up?
A lot of questions.
Yeah, there's. It's
not that really nobody cares if they get answers.
I don't.
No, not at all.
Get
not remotely.
So this shot, I assume, is from.
It's from the magic telescope that the guy has at the beginning.
The magic spyglass or telescope that the guy has that also is able to look down on airplanes as they travel beneath them spontaneously. Okay.
Whose pick was this, actually? Whose pick was this?
I did. I picked it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just to shut Jerry up is what he did. Yeah.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad we finally saw it.
I just thought as much as people bring it up, crime and Nutley, we just.
How bad could it be?
I don't know. So I guess it's my pick. So I am going to go first with.
Did you get the Blu-ray?
First impression.
Yeah, you got it.
Well, there isn't one.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I think there's I'm not even sure there's a DVD. I think there might have been old VHSs because man, there's no decent images flying around.
No, it's really
no decent prints.
The quality is super bad.
There's no decent movie.
This thing, these people like fly into this area where everyone there has a Scottish accent. However, because it's in Scotland, but every one of their accents is different. My favorite is the old guy who discovered it and has the picture over his fireplace. His name escapes me right this minute.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Jack
Probably
Stewart.
got a lot of R's in it.
Yeah.
Jack Stewart. Anyway, yeah, he wow. It's like the whole thing kind of reminded me of a comedy skit from Carol Burnett. because there was just crazy stuff. The stuff people close. There's the one place where the is it his daughter? I think she changes her clothes like 3 times in this one scene. I just was like, oh, and they're actually going to show her taking her shoes off, taking her socks off, unbuttoning her shirt, and then we flashed when she's finishing up. But anyway,
going for that feature run length.
I guess we needed a few extra minutes. I don't know. He's looking down on this. It's just crazy. Yeah, that opening scene from 1945, right? And he's looking through this telescope from his castle, and he sees Nessie.
His castle in the clouds.
But then he looks around somewhere else, and now he sees a bomber. But the shot is like as if you were flying, a few hundred feet above the bomber, and they're looking straight down. Which
and it never moves.
It's as if it was stock footage or something.
Yeah, almost.
Movie.
Yeah.
It might have been.
I think it's think maybe it was the Crawling Eye, Chad, where they had a thing like that, where the telescope is just magnifies however much you need it. It can just zoom right in on guys climbing the cliff over here, and
wherever you needed it to go, it just even behind itself. You would take pictures.
We'll talk about some of this stuff. I mean, I don't know how much more I want to go. It's just crazy. And then there's a whole section of the film that I swear could have been called Exposition Are Us. They just stood around while the guy told them the history of something or another.
Hey, talk is cheap.
I don't know. I'm gonna.
This movie left you speechless.
It did.
Big trouble.
Isn't that tough? Yeah. Although I did love the name of the boat. The scientist's boat was called the Wet Bottom, which got brought up all the time.
That's what they used to call my little brother when he'd get up in the morning.
I know.
Wet the
I know. Chad,
what?
Let's go to you. What's your first impression? Did you ever seen this before? Or is this
I've never seen this. I've seen I've seen bits and pieces of it, and there's probably a reason. But I'm getting up there in years, Jeff. I don't have as many days as I've had left in life, and to spend it on watching a piece of shit like this sort of gets me a little upset.
Oh dear God!
Wow.
But
takes it personally.
I did. I took it personally. I've been trying to find Buchanan's phone number. It's happened to me. I don't look at it like I watched this movie. It's more like something happened to me watching this movie. The first impression. Well, the first time I saw the guy using the telescope and the airplane thing, I was watching it on YouTube. And so I pushed through the grain I was watching it through, or cheesecloth, whichever one it was. And looked into the YouTube settings, and they had playback speed, and I was like, oh boy, and it had 1.5 times speed. So of course I hit 1.5 times speed and watched the whole freaking movie in half the time. It still aggravated the hell out of me.
What did those Scottish accents sound like at 1.5 times speed?
Something like that.
Okay.
And some of the most the worst Scottish accents I've ever heard in my life. And the monster, it was like, are they sure this was an egg and it wasn't just a turd?
Petrified turd.
Wouldn't an egg be relatively egg-shaped and not like
it was pretty hard. It was pretty heavy too.
It looked like one of those turds that has been under the couch for 3 years that you never found, and
wow,
it just becomes another piece of furniture
petrified
at that point.
turd.
So no, this no.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Crystal, how about you?
Okay. I don't care what anyone says, but come on. It's like a monster took Brad. Like, I died. I laughed so hard. I could not handle that. I was like, how could someone not find this hilarious? Because it's hilarious. I don't know what that actress was trying to portray there. And I don't care because it was good. Okay?
I wish I could watch movies like this through Crystal's eyes. I really
That's right. That's true.
Yeah. Because I was like dying. I was like, what? Well, there was this whole, okay, so the movie is not good. Nessie looks plastic. I don't know what she's made out of, but it looks like a hand puppet, except bigger. Clearly it's bigger. Its mouth literally goes like,
oh my God.
That is so ridiculous. Like, who made this and thought that is, oh my God. And I was thinking about it. I was like, as I was watching it, I was like, you know, they had some scenes where like, look, I'm actually turning red from getting all excited. They had some scenes where like they blew up the water and stuff. And you know that when they made that, they were like, oh yeah, look at that. Gold, baby. We just made movie magic. And that makes me really happy. It's horrible. It's bad. There's some weird middle part. I mean, the story just, whoa. It kind of goes everywhere. I mean, I kind of didn't understand the beginning, I guess, until the end, toward the end. And then it kind of doesn't make sense anyway, but it kind of, I guess they're trying to make something cohesive. And then I don't understand why they're trying to protect Nessie when Nessie's really a mean creature and trying to kill everybody. I don't get it. I'm really confused. And then the whole middle scene is very odd. Like, and everyone is on inflatable boats.
I know. What was that about?
Barely.
I go hunting for monsters in plastic raft.
Yeah. They don't have any money in the budget. And see, that's what makes me like movies like this, okay? Because you're like, look, these people did what they could with what they could. Okay, so there's a YouTube called like, I don't know. It's basically where they do movie trailers, but with like really cheap items like lollipops and hot dogs and stuff. And I think it's hilarious. And I think if people like that, they like stuff like this. It's probably a small niche, you know? But I know Jerry likes it, and I like it for the same reasons as him. It makes me laugh. It's funny. I mean, am I gonna like watch it 100? No, but I don't hate myself for watching it.
So jealous of you right now. I wish I.
I know.
It's really about watching it with going, wow, that's super rad.
Yeah. Oh, the minute they show that telescope.
You know what you're gonna. But why is the quality so bad on this? Like the quality and the quality of
the picture quality.
Yes.
Yeah, because of the washcloth they had hanging over the camera.
Sometimes I couldn't even see what was on screen.
Yeah.
Cry.
Lucky
I'm gonna
you.
cry.
And trust me.
I swear to God, I thought it was Nessie on the screen, and then I found out it was a guy walking.
She ain't lying, folks.
It was so bad. Oh God, why is that so funny?
And
okay,
Jerry, I have it on
so
authority
funny.
from Jerry that was the best quality one out there.
Yeah.
God.
Now we
like,
could have watched one that was part of the what is it, Commander America or
Commander USA groovy movie.
Commander USA.
Yeah.
Show, but that was that was
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal was tickled to think. How about you, Bill?
Yeah. I see. We need to watch these movies with Crystal, and it would be a much more enjoyable experience. Oh God. Okay, so you gotta understand, when I was a kid, up until like when this movie came out, which would mean I was a kid in my 20s, I was the neighborhood lunatic who was into UFOs, Loch Ness Monster, Yeti, Bigfoot, the Bermuda Triangle, Chariots of the Gods. I mean, I had all these books. I read them religiously. Oh my God, yeah. Just stuff that, And I, if I had to pick, they said, which one of these things do you think is going to pay off? And I'm like, I think in the next 5 years, we're going to have proof of the Loch Ness Monster. I had all the photos, I had everything. I was like, oh yeah. And, so yeah, I love cryptozoology. I love cryptozoology movies, but there aren't very many good ones. And this one reeks. It's so bad. But the thing is, I would have known it was bad. It was a while before I saw this one, but I knew who Larry Buchanan was, because Larry Buchanan was another one of those, like Jerry Warren, who in my journey watching films and becoming, a huge fanatic of horror and science fiction and fantasy, I learned certain names guaranteed a certain level of quality. And Larry Buchanan was one of those names that when it said directed by Larry Buchanan, is like, sit back and try to keep your eyes open, because you are in for some real trash. But you know what? I don't dislike his films the way I dislike Jerry Warren's for Frankenstein Island, because Larry Buchanan, I really believe, did love filmmaking. And from what I know of his history, that's true. That he got into film early as a prop master. He worked on some legit stuff. He knew Stanley Kubrick. I mean, and his films have family in them, so they were, family affairs, and I'm sure they had fun making him. But I've never seen a film of his that really showed any talent. Simple things, just, composition and how to tell a story. This is, you watch any scene in this movie where Nessie is stalking people, this giant beast the size of an elephant that's like a ninja walking through the woods and can somehow sneak up. They don't know it's there until it's literally on top of them.
So bad.
Okay, you can shoot that in a few different ways that might build up some suspense, but Larry didn't have a clue. Things just happen. And then you can nitpick things like the fact that the accents in this, I wish I could roll my R's, because I would do this entire review talking like the people in this movie. But that is a gift I don't have. When I try to roll my R's, I sound like I'm choking to death on an olive pit or something. But these people are just swinging for the fences. Off they go. And it's just so silly. But there's nothing happening. Every single shot is twice as long as it needs to be. This movie should be half as long as it is.
It was for
because everything, every shot goes on forever, and every scene has too many shots. So this could have been a tight, still bad 30-minute movie. And yet, for all that, I got to say, and this is going to sound weird, I actually have a certain affection for that Nessie puppet, which looks like an inflatable thingamahoo.
Yeah.
But for a Larry Buchanan thing, I mean, this is the guy who's famous for having monsters whose eyes are ping pong balls, and no attempt is made to hide the fact that they are ping pong balls. Like you're looking at this like, I could make that costume better. My child could make that costume better. This actually is fairly good. It can move. It doesn't have a lot of movement, but the thing is, it's built with such an expressive face. It's smiling like a porpoise. It's got that permanent smile, and that gives it some personality. So it doesn't shock me that of all the characters in this film, of all the actors in this film, the one that probably went on to greater acclaim was Nessie. The Nessie puppet shows up in one other film, and the apparatus that made Nessie move shows up in another film, which Jeff tracked down. I'd forgotten all about that. But this movie's terrible. It's a Larry Buchanan movie. I repeat myself.
Okay.
There you go.
I think.
I mean, I can't defend that. That's true too. I mean, I get it.
But the fact that you got
it totally.
But the fact that you enjoy, I again, as I often do, I envy Crystal. Oh, I have such a boring life. I was just on a movie set. Oh yeah, boring life, Cleveland, we call her. I envy her like I envy people who, when there's a presidential election, tell me, boy, I can't wait to vote for this person. I'm like, wow, really? I don't remember the last time I felt that way. I'm just like, who's less horrible? Maybe I'll give them my vote. So I envy when we watch something that I just like, this is a chore, and she's just having a great old time.
So here's the thing, okay? I do Gruesome, and it's 2 movies a week of whatever new stuff is coming out. And a lot of it is not good, and a lot of it's good. But when you watch so much bad, you either let it consume you or you see the good in it. So you kind of
It's already consumed me.
You kind of just have to just let it go and go, is there anything redeeming about that? Yes. And I do have a lot more grace for the 80s than I do now, because I mean, there's a lot you can do with just an iPhone now. So I don't make the same allowances, but
you're like the good little angel that pops up on your shoulder. It's like, they tried, Bill. They really did. They didn't have a lot, and they tried. And then Chad shows up with horns and a tail. It's like, this sucked. Your life is dwindling in front of your eyes, and you're wasting it watching films like this.
I know, and that's exactly what he said too. He's like, I don't have many days left on this earth, and here I spend it watching this garbage.
So right now, I'm looking at the 2 of you, and you're like my supernatural advisors.
Don't do it. Don't watch it, Bill.
We have to do.
Taglines.
That's right.
Already?
And now it's time for
Look at that handsome devil.
Yeah.
taglines with Chad.
Okay, that was weird.
Yeah, it was.
It's always weird. It's always weird for me. I don't know about you guys.
I think we should just keep this face. No, never mind.
There you go.
Just replace my whole face with that. That's better. It's a prettier face. Okay, taglines for what's the name of this movie again? The Loch Ness Horrible. Horrible. Tagline number 1: It is alive.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Cue the crickets.
Yeah.
It is.
That's pretty bad.
See, he would have said it's alive, but that's actually the name of another terrible
Larry
Larry
Cohen film.
Larry Buchanan. Yes,
it's
but also it's a Larry Buchanan film.
I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next tagline for this just wonderful, wonderful family film. At last, the world's most treasured story comes to the screen.
What?
Are you kidding? No.
Hey, I just read them as they're
that's
put in front of me.
lies. That was
Yeah.
what?
I think Jeff wrote
Wow.
that, and actually,
No, I did not. And you'll see. I have proof. So
Yeah.
thank you, sir. And that
that was it.
been
That was it.
That was quick.
That was it.
taglines with Chad.
almost not worth doing.
You don't got to waste taglines on a film like this. You don't have to waste taglines. This thing sells itself.
Yeah, it does.
True.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just to prove that I didn't write any of those. Let's take a look at the poster.
What movie is this? This isn't a movie.
Oh, it looks great. Wow,
This movie
look
looks
at that.
excellent.
Wow, I can't wait to
This
see
looks
this
like
one.
it should
poster,
star
actually.
Doug McClure.
I mean, I
Yeah.
will say they do look like they're on an inflatable raft. Okay, so
Yeah,
that part,
that
I'll
part's
give them that.
accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait a minute. That inflatable raft, that little inflatable raft with the outboard motor on it, I couldn't stop laughing.
The
I
motor
know.
was sinking
It's
the
so
boat.
funny.
Yeah.
I know. It's
They were gonna
right-
die
and then-
before the
wait,
monsters
wait,
ever
wait,
showed
Jeff.
up.
Jeff, what about when Nessie grabs it and it's like all that they had to clamp them?
Yeah.
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 Come on. That's ridiculous.
I
They're
expected
like,
it.
so good.
So
So
it
good.
had like it could go, like this.
Mm-hmm.
The head could go like that,
Mhm.
and it could turn a little bit,
Mhm.
but not
Mm-hmm.
in like real time. And then the mouth was open,
Yeah.
but not with any force, because it was sort of like you had to when it ate somebody, its mouth was open and you had to stick your head in its mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had to help
The
it a
guy
little.
was biting his arm, and it took 10 minutes for him to die. And it looked like they were hugging for the first 5 minutes. He looked like he was hugging the monster.
So
And he was
awful.
It
actually
was like when
biting him.
it's like when Bela Lugosi had to pretend he was being attacked by an octopus, and he's clearly just throwing the arms on himself. It's like, yeah.
Well, like every TV show in the 50s and 60s when somebody fought an alligator or whatever. So
I'm interested in
That's-
where that second tagline comes from.
Oh, it was
right.
there.
It was on there.
Yeah, it was
there.
on the poster. But I want to know who thought that up and who and what most treasured story are they talking about? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the actors in here was a regular on The Waltons, so maybe it came from some of that. I don't know.
Oh, I remember when I was a wee broth of a lad, and my mum would read the treasured stories of Scottish tales about a Nazi war.
Roll your R's.
I can't roll my R's. People in Scotland thought I was special ed. I couldn't.
But just so people know, if you don't listen to us that much, one of our regular listeners and someone who has guested with the podcast, Jerry Chandler, very well informed. Movie fan and like unbelievably trivia in number of movies and things like that, has been hounding us about doing this movie. I asked him to join us, but he couldn't because he had it conflicted with his
and I'm sure that is making him gnash his teeth and weep.
No,
with anger that he can't do it. I hope he is suffering. I hope he's because some payback for making us do this.
He understands completely.
I'm thankful.
I would just
I can't believe I just
agree
said
with
that.
with Crystal. I know, but let's talk about Larry Buchanan.
Here we go.
Okay.
This is just a smattering.
Oh, the Mars Need Women.
Mars Needs Women. Now, here's what you need to know. A lot of these films never made it to theater. He made films for TV, not TV movies per se, but films to fill up content. And what he did is he took old AIP, American International movies, and just remade them. So the Eye Creatures is Invasion of the Saucermen. And Zontar, the Thing from Venus.
Artwork that looks like the Crawling Eye.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they stole that. Zontar, the Thing from Venus is It Conquered the World. Curse of the Swamp Creature is the monster with the ping pong ball eyes. Yeah, it just oh god. And then he would do some like the Naked Witch. He was a conspiracy nut. So Down on Us, which I've never seen, but it sounds like one of his more interesting ones, is that it's got Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, and Janis Joplin, and he believes that the government had them killed because their rock and roll was doing stuff to the youth of America. He was big on conspiracy stuff, which is cool. Yeah, he just did all kinds of.
They did all die at the same age.
Their magic got them killed. ... Young.
And then he did Mistress of the Apes and Goodbye Norma Jean. He did A Bullet for Pretty Boy. So he did westerns and gangster movies, and they're all exploitation, just 100% pure exploitation. The horror stuff is what he's most known for.
He looks like
and
a
I
guy
admire
that would
that.
host a conspiracy TV show.
He seems like a fun guy. It's just that his movies are terrible.
I mean, terrible is debatable. Terrible is subjective and debatable.
To me, they're not. Yeah, they're not terrible in the Ed Wood way, where I can have a lot of fun with them.
Well, I think it is. I laughed my ass off at that Scottish accent the whole time.
Yeah.
And then once the monster left the water and started going through. Well, the script is hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
The dude's like, "Come on, we know your man left." Okay, I know I keep talking about the monster took breath, but like, then the dude is like, "Come on, we know your man just left you. Just get it." And I'm like, "What, dude? What are you talking? Yeah. Why? Like, no one would do that." But it's funny. Yeah. That scene particularly really got me. Like, because she was trying to bring it. I don't know what she was bringing, but
yeah.
An extra set of clothes, apparently.
Yeah. Yes.
There we go.
There
she is.
Yes.
Here's
Sorry.
Nessie.
That picture just looked like they were just hugging and having a good old time for like 5 seconds, and then he gets eaten.
I like how it occasionally blows out dry ice smoke or bubbles. The bubbles are good too.
Well, and
what are the little antenna on his head? That's what I want.
Well, okay, so here's Bill, little Bill, Mr. Loch Ness Monster fan. No, these little things that have been reported many times in Loch Ness Monster sightings were believed by cryptozoologists who were just making it up as they went along to be like air breathing apparatus, kind of like little snorkels, which would explain.
Really need a nose.
Right. Okay. Shut up. Yeah. Oh man, I so believed in the Loch Ness Monster. I so wanted to believe. And here's the thing, as I've gotten older and they have not found any proof whatsoever that the monster exists, I've come to the conclusion, and it's not that I've become old and cynical and don't believe in magic anymore. I believe that the universe is such a fundamentally weird place that if you look at any section of it for a long enough time, you start to see strange things.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, Loch Ness is a pretty amazing lake in and of itself. It's kind of an amazing thing. It's totally inappropriate for a plesiosaur, but okay. Loch Ness is just a big, strange body of water. And if you spend 50 years looking at it, you're going to see some strange stuff because, again, the universe is weird. I don't think that means there's a dinosaur living in there because there's so many reasons why that can't be true. But I do understand that people who have gone there and seen something, if that happened to me, I'd be just like them. I would ditch everything in my life, get a camper van, and live there and spend the rest of my dwindling years trying to get a photograph that would prove I saw what I saw. And that has happened to a number of people. And yeah, I'm glad it never happened to me because so I don't think there's really anything like that
30
there.
years later.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd love to be wrong, though. I would love for them tomorrow for someone to but now, of course, with special effects and everyone's camera, everyone's phone can do amazing stuff.
Yep.
I wouldn't believe a word of it. Not a word.
The top picture there where he's got a hold of the raft.
Yeah.
That was where, I know the special effects is iffy all the way through, but that top one, like he's got a hold of that raft and you expect it, to like shake it and throw it off or something, but it just stands there with it. And then
just lets it go. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's because there's
keep in mind
going.
And that's the best shot they had. That's the shot that they decided, okay, this is the one we're going to stick in the movie. So you can just imagine what the rest of the shot looked like. It's like, this just looks like an inflatable head bumping into another inflatable thing. Battle of the inflatables.
Well, as Bill has described here, the actual.
Here I go. Here's from my my archive of. So in order, the top photo is the O'Connor photograph, which was later pretty convincingly. It's a kayak upside down with a stick shoved in front of it. The middle one. Now this one is the gray photograph, which I think is one of the more interesting ones. A lot of people say that if you kind of squint your eyes and look at it, it's a double exposure of a dog with a stick in its mouth swimming toward you.
Oh, I see it. I see it. I see the dog with the stick.
Yeah.
Totally.
Is a great explanation, but I actually
see
that's not
like y'all can see where I'm pointing.
I can see it. I can.
Totally.
Of course, the second from the bottom is the infamous surgeon's photograph that really started the whole thing, and was later claimed. People claimed on their deathbed or whatever that it was a toy submarine with a balsa wood thing attached to it. It's actually much smaller than it appears if you see the uncropped photo. I'm a little dubious of the submarine explanation because that sounds kind of weird. People, but
what I can't figure out is when I look at this stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, I watched a documentary on extraterrestrials, I guess, aliens phenomena, and I'm thinking, what does somebody get out of basically they all got ridiculed and ostracized, and but so who
and yet you got
makes up a big thing to I don't know, it just seems like a weird thing to put your time and effort in.
I think we as humans, we want to believe there's something out there other than us, whether that's a Loch Ness monster, aliens, or So I just think that they want it so bad they'll do anything to try and prove that, even if it costs them a little bit of
the picture
pride,
on the bottom. You know? The picture on the bottom is the one that broke me, because this was underwater cameras that they had set up around the loch to be triggered if anything swam by. And big announcement, it was in like National Geographic and Smithsonian and everything, that they had taken these photographs, and you see like it's a close-up of a fin. And there were other ones that were like a close-up of a head or the body of the monster. Like, holy crap, these were legit scientists, or, you know, not just cranks. But okay, so there's the picture on the left that shows the fin. The picture on the right is the actual picture. It turned out that these were, to put it generously, heavily retouched. No one's actually come forward to claim who it was who retouched them. And it's pretty obvious now that what these were just pictures of the bottom of the loch. It's just a picture of mud.
That sucks.
And just like you seeing the dog carrying the stick, they looked at it and said, you know, if you kind of squint your eyes, there's sort of like a fin shape kind of in there if you make this part dark and this part light.
So once for no reason.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, the thing is, nowadays, every single human being on Earth has a high definition camera in their phone. And yet we still get blurry pictures of all these amazing cryptids, just like before when cameras were a big deal and I could understand why the shots wouldn't be that great. And that's kind of taken me out of the game. You know, it's like, how come there hasn't been a as good a photograph or movie since the Patterson Bigfoot one? How come Loch Ness, which every single person who goes there is waiting to see the monster, how come we're not getting any good monster shots anymore?
It was the wild, wild west. Nobody had seen this kind of stuff before. Now they had, and then because I remember back then it was wild. Everybody was either a Bigfoot fan or a Loch Ness monster fan.
Yeah, Loch Ness is a big, deep lake. It is so big and so deep that it has its.
I know
own
they can't
climate.
Really.
Yeah, like
really
stuff happens. No, it's completely brown. It doesn't look anything like Lake Tahoe, for example. Yeah. So if you had to pick a lake that could hide a monster or two, then there has to be a.
You know, the monster actually has more credits than a couple of the actors in this movie.
There we go.
What?
This is Amazon Women on the Moon, which is kind of like Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah, this is Nessie playing the Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
What?
Oh, you haven't seen this, Crystal? Oh, you'd love it. It's a short segment called Bullshit or Not, and this guy is like Peter Graves comes out and he's like, could the Loch Ness monster have been Jack the Ripper? And here comes the Loch Ness Horror. And it's perfect for this because look at the expression.
Beautiful.
Look at the expression on her face. I mean, grinning and.
But it's like that's.
It feels like
they did something to the eyes.
I wonder what she's going to charge him.
All right.
Oh.
Too much.
Where does he keep his wallet? That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
More than a shilling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we have one other thing. So we're kind of bashing the design on this. I guess we are bashing the creature, but we do know that there was almost no money involved. So the person that made that creature was actually, I think, this was fairly early on in their career, but became a fairly well-known effects person. So he had a company or worked for a company, I'm not sure. Somebody will correct me, I'm sure, called Image Engineering, that did all the mechanical effects on A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors.
Ralph Miller.
Oh.
And Ralph Miller had supplied us this picture. Those controls are the controls that were used to operate Nessie. And
wait, you mean they actually had decent controls like that? Because I really just thought it
was... those are just big arms to move it. I think.
Decent. I don't know. It's like
this is actually Ralph Miller working on the Loch Ness Horror, but he's just came to admit it.
No, he doesn't want to admit it.
He does have a dinosaur on his shirt.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
So
look at it, full of dreams and everything, going, this is going to be the greatest movie ever.
I believe it was used for the mechanical arms on the Freddy TV segment.
Yeah.
And Ralph did not operate either one of those. He just saw this thing sitting there, thought it was a good photo op, took it and supplied it to us when we did Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. So, this stuff, regardless, both the mechanism and the creature got used again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Peter Chesney went on to do some pretty cool stuff. Anyway, Image Engineering, I think, was a mechanical effects lab. They may have done more than that, but that's what I'm aware of, at least for Dream Warriors. And all he gets on here is additional crew for Creature Creator.
Cool.
Anyway, but
yeah.
Now
that's about all I got to say about that.
Well, I do have a couple other things to say. So this has cracked me up. I don't know why I didn't see this to begin with. Well, first off, we said it was Clan Buchanan. Well, I don't know their relations, but Barry Buchanan played Spencer Dean, the scientist from Texas that the girl had a crush on.
I'm pretty sure that's Larry's son.
Then Dee Buchanan played Alex's girl, which I think was one of the early ones in the really bad shots where they gets the rubber boat is anyway. It's hard.
200-pound engine on it.
Film editing by Randy Buchanan. Sound department Randy Buchanan. Camera and electrical department, Jeff Buchanan was the best boy.
Best boy.
And Dee Buchanan was also script supervisor. So there was, I don't know.
It's a family affair.
Four different Buchanans that got credits, I guess. We got Larry, Randy,
like a creature.
Dee,
everybody's looking for him, and nobody can find him and everything, but he's everywhere. Literally everywhere.
Yeah.
So are the Buchanans.
So I got to throw this out though. The lead, I don't even know if he is the lead character or not, but Sandy Kenyon, who played that professor, that guy's got 140 some credits. Ooh. All the way back to 1950, tons of 50s and 60s westerns and TV series and stuff like that. So, I mean, everything you can think of, he was in. So it's interesting. I feel like these just had to be, I ain't doing nothing. He's going to give me something. I don't know. Yeah. He knows a friend of mine or something. I don't know. I don't know how they get involved on these, but I recognized him right off. The one that played the girl is Mickey McKenzie. She has hardly any credits, but she did one episode of Chips. Oh. Now here's where it gets interesting. So which one was Brad?
Brad was the dude that got eaten on the inflatable boat.
Okay.
And then the girl's the one that comes back. A monster took Brad.
Oh, okay. So Brad was played by Eric Scott, who was Ben in The Waltons.
Oh, interesting.
The redheaded kid.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him at all. I got to go back.
No,
and look at it.
I've never watched The Waltons.
212 credits of Walt. And his girlfriend, Carrie Lewis Scott, was his wife. I don't know
in
if
real
they were
life?
married then I don't know if they were married
Dear
then
God.
or later, but I didn't notice on the credits. But yeah, she did one episode of The Waltons. And then I have, I just love this. The guy that played Professor Pratt, the guy that we saw getting his head chomped.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Stuart Lancaster. I was going to give you a quiz question, but this guy is our connection to Russ Meyer, Tim Burton, and Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was in Pussycat, Kill. Is that
Dexter
right
Pussycat, Kill? Yeah.
Yeah, he was in that. He was also in Edward Scissorhands. Scissorhands,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he play like an old man or retired man or something like that. His credits are not.
He played old man a lot because
he played old man in Faster Pussycat Kill Kill,
Mm-hmm.
retired man in Edward Scissorhands, and in Batman Returns he played the Penguin's doctor.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, and he had like 40 credits at IMDb, but it's just weird to.
Yeah.
I had to throw that in just for some connections. I had to. And Preston Hansen, who plays the British Colonel, what the heck? He was in Action Jackson.
Action
Jackson.
And I thought I saw something else, like episodes of Highway to Heaven, and it's crazy.
But this is the film that they all put at the top of their resume.
Yeah,
probably.
Clearly.
So I thought these guys. I'm like thinking these guys can't be in anything else. Now, the guy with the Jack Stewart, the guy with the super thick Scottish accent, has 3 credits. And the other 2, besides the Loch Ness Horror, are Little House on the Prairie and Father Murphy.
Oh, Father Murphy. I didn't know what that was for a second. Then it came to me.
That's the one with Merlin Olsen, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. That's about all I can stretch out of this.
Yeah.
Those are my connections.
I think
There
we
may be some more.
we can't stretch no more.
Yeah. So what else we want to say? I mean, Jerry's thing about this is I can't remember one of the. Well, let's do feedback because somebody points it out in the feedback.
So,
okay?
Yeah.
You got last comments on this film? I think it's kind of fun. The worst part about it to me is the resolution on it is so bad.
Yeah,
you just
I do wish
can't
it was better.
see.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And I watched it on I think I screwed up by watching it on a 65-inch television.
Wow.
I think it made it worse. Obviously, I probably should have watched it on like an iPad.
Yeah, I did
it would have
too.
looked better.
I did too.
Mm-hmm.
So then I well, never mind.
Yeah.
I put on
Buchanan,
I put on the YouTube automatic captions, and it did some really interesting things with those Scottish accents.
Yeah, it
I
did.
bet. I bet. Funsies.
So we've done this. I hope Jerry's okay with this, but it's just the script is terrible.
It looked like the worst
script,
TV movie
acting.
ever.
The Nazi bomber.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Who knows?
What did that have to do with anything? What?
Yeah, I felt like there was a conspiracy theory somewhere in
Yeah,
here, but we never
I did
actually
too.
got to it.
Well, I think
I thought they were gonna make it seem like they are what dropped Nessie into. That's what I thought it was, but then it just didn't seem to really flesh that out.
No, there was something to do with pirated explosives or something that somebody had sold to the Nazis. Was that it or something like that?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
If
they ever dove and found that, they would find out something that no one should always be kept secret.
Right.
But
that's why they killed Janis Joplin.
Yeah, and the pilots were wearing hazmat suits of the old plane, weren't they?
Well,
the big yellow suits.
Was that mannequin there underwater supposed to be a dead body?
Oh God, I don't know. Probably.
Did you see that? I saw it. Looked everything like a mannequin. I thought that was dressed up and sticking out of the bomber window.
Oh, we forgot to reveal the ending after the terrible Jaws ripoff.
Yes,
right.
The death of Nessie, and they destroy the monster. They drop the egg back into the.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
It blowed up
for yet another.
So we can have a sequel.
Yeah. They ever make one? Just kidding.
No.
I'm like,
but they saved the props, so
yeah, they certainly did.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
Jack
sure Jerry's not satisfied with our coverage of this, but we will.
We don't do this podcast for Jerry.
I will put a link. I will put a link in the show notes of a piece, a little bit Jerry wrote on this on his on a blog that he has. Which is interesting. It's kind of fun, and he's passionate. Like who thought looking out of a telescope horizontally across the water would mean you could look down on a German bomber? Who thought that?
Why not?
Anyway,
it's the suspension of disbelief.
I didn't believe it.
It's mad, as Doug Henson used to say. It's magic.
Yeah.
Was it Doug Henning? Is that his name? Henning?
Doug Henning, yeah.
Doug Henning, yeah.
I think
that brings back memories.
So we have some feedback, and it's kind of good feedback, I think.
Let's see.
Did we cover everything?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any nuances in this film left to cover here. Yeah, just thinking.
No, I'm just double checking. All right. So Frankenstein Island, that was Crystal's pick. If I recall.
Thanks to Jerry, but still, yeah.
Well, Jerry and Mr. Mohr and
Mikey Z.
So here's Lee Milner. Crystal, do you want to take that one?
Sure.
Feedback?
Totally agree with Chad. Terrible movie. And seemed much longer than it was. One of the worst films I've ever seen. There are films that are so bad, they are enjoyable, but not this one. Awful.
Thank you.
Still enjoyed the show, though. Great listen as always. Smiley face.
Lee's my kind of person.
That's right.
I love it. And Chad gets to read the Dallas Nostromo comment on Frankenstein Island.
Okay, Dallas. He says, when I saw Frankenstein Island was going to be reviewed next, I went on Tubi and placed it on my watch list. However, I was unable to watch it before listening to the podcast. After listening, I immediately went on to Tubi and deleted it.
Oh,
that was a close
one, Dallas. Come on, Dallas. You're not at all curious to form your own opinion about Frankenstein Island?
Dallas,
you dodged a bullet, Dallas. Okay. You dodged a bullet.
And he closes out and says, "Thanks for taking the bullet on that one, Dallas." He knows what's up.
That's right.
He knows what's up. He knows who to listen to around here.
All right. Now, here's where we get some explanation a little bit. I think this is a little bit like what Jerry thinks about this. So from West Diorio, Bill, do you want to take that one?
Sure. West Diorio. Hey, Grue Crew. Believe it or not, Bill said something profound while reviewing this completely unprofound movie. I realize unprofound is not a word. Allow me to paraphrase. But when viewing a low-budget movie, there is a fine line between good bad and bad bad. And it all depends on the intent of the director and producer. Were they out to make a movie or were they out to make a buck? Bill, thank you for explaining why some low-budget movies are enjoyable while others are intolerable. As always, there are some exceptions that prove the rule, but I think this theory is sound. There are movie makers whose reach exceeds their grasp, but it's for that reach that we love them, or at least appreciate what they try to accomplish. Now, that being said, and with the review the crew gave this movie, I will still have to watch Frankenstein Island just for how terrible it sounds, regardless of Jerry Warren's intent. Ciao for now, West Diorio.
Yes, Wes. You gotta always keep your own mind and decide for yourself.
Heed the warnings, my brother. Heed the warnings, for they are
He
true.
thinks I'm profound, so he's my new favorite.
Well, that's why I'm worried about him.
He did say, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Yeah. It was a shock. It's a shock to everyone.
It leaves it up to us, right?
I say a lot of stuff. So just the odds are occasionally I'll say something, that seems wise at the time. Yeah. But you should probably still disregard my advice just on a numbers basis.
All right. Moving on to episode 232, Zombie 3, which just hit the public 2 days ago. There's one from Mikey Z. And what do we want to do? Chad or Bill or no? I'm sorry, Crystal. You want to take Mikey Z?
Okay. Rambunctious as much as I can, Bill, regarding Frank Isle. The May month trifecta of Frankenstein Island, Zombie 3, and the Loch Ness Horror? Or was it the month of Mame? Oh my God. Yeah, actually, that's really good. Perhaps some double taps of earlier done good 80s films. Poltergeist, American Wolf in London, Aliens, or even that Christopher G. Mohr beloved Motel Hell. Might remove the excrement of the merry month of May from the Grue Crew's collective consciousness. Shout, fellows all, Crystal included. You can call me a fellow. I don't care. It's all good, but I appreciate being, stand tall and better days ahead. Actually, you know what? Like, we do have a lot of mainstream horror movies that we still haven't done. And I don't know how we got away from a lot of that, but we started getting like away from it. Like, but there's tons of stuff we haven't done.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well, and there may be, well, anyway, and by the way, if we did Motel Hell, that would be a triple tap.
We did Motel Hell. Yeah.
We should do it and invite Chris Mohr on here.
Always invite Chris.
Yeah. Well, there's a 4K Ultra HD coming out from Scream Factory.
What a way to celebrate.
At the end of June. So, I'm sure it will reveal new things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like totally. He's going to say, now I get it. It's great. What was I was missing it.
He will never like that movie just based on principle now.
Yeah. Well, sure.
Yep.
And Mikey Z was the big pusher of Frankenstein Island. So
sure was. We're not going to forget that, Mikey Z.
And he said thanks in another comment I think we read last week.
Don't mention it.
Chad White says, I remember picking this up at Blockbuster one night. I lost it when the flying head happened. Laugh out loud. Great show, everyone. Thanks, then Chad. Let's see. Chad, you want to take Gregory Crosby?
Sure. Mr. Greg says, one of the singular pleasures of DOH 80s is listening to the crew hilariously savage a film that I am highly unlikely, for whatever reasons, to ever watch. I did, however, immediately fire up the clip of the flying zombie head on YouTube. It did not disappoint. That was my favorite. I also want to nominate Jeff's Vanishing Point tangent for the Jeff Mohr Tangent Hall of Fame. There's a Hall of Fame for that?
Yeah.
Not much of a Hall of Fame.
What did you do, Jeff? What did you
do? The guy that played the lead in Zombie 3, Darren Sarafian, he was the helicopter pilot that flew away at the end. His dad directed Vanishing Point, a movie from the early 70s. It was a cross-country car chase thing. It was pretty famous at the time. It was a cult thing. Anyway, that's where I went. He also directed 2 episodes of Batman.
Don't get him started. See, you got him started now, Crystal.
Stop. He doesn't stop.
Don't
Crystal, leave him alone. Don't feed the animal. Speaking of tangents, I saw Vanishing Point at Film Forum a few years ago, and it's well worth a watch. Let me suggest making it a double feature with Monty Hellman's brilliant 2-Lane Blacktop, which came out the same year.
Now isn't that James Taylor and is it
James Taylor?
Vanishing Point?
Is it Warren Oates? No, 2-Lane Blacktop.
Oh yeah, 2-Lane Blacktop, yes. Yeah. It's a movie of its time.
It's a movie of its time.
Yeah, James Taylor and Warren Oates. I want to say isn't one of the Dennis Wilson is in it from the Beach Boys.
Oh, that's interesting.
Come on, guys, get with it. All right. I think that's it.
I'm sleepy.
I think that's it. Well, thanks, Gregory.
Unruly children. Yes.
Mikey Z, Chad White, Wes Diorio, Dallas Nostromo, and Lee Milner. Thank you so much for your comments. I'll put the link for Assignment Horror podcast blog. They're not bad. They were just filmed that way. That's the title of the blog.
Which is great. That's great.
That's fair.
You got to love. I just think all the Scottish accent thing, they couldn't possibly have thought that was good.
Yeah, they could have. Jeff, trust me when I say that part of the reason that makes me laugh with this is I have worked with directors who think, look, oh my God, I've created
something great.
All you got to do is learn how to roll your R's, and that's all you need to know. Just the rest of it just falls into place.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Well, and I should have asked beforehand, but our next episode in 2 weeks is one chosen by Bill.
Oh, crap. I was afraid you were going to say that. And I've given it a lot of thought.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to throw one out that you mentioned.
Okay.
For 70s, but it was an 80s film.
Oh, what was that?
Oh.
Tenebrae.
What?
Oh, God. Yeah, that's exactly the one I was thinking.
What is it?
It's Dario Argento. Tenebrae.
Yeah, what's it called?
Tenebrae.
Oh,
Tenebrae.
I've
Okay,
never seen that.
Wrong.
And I don't know it, actually. How do I...
Well, now, you may have seen it. It was released in America under the title Unsane.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is one of the last Argento movies, I think, to get released in this country relatively uncut, but it didn't get much of a release. It's got a couple of good kills in it.
Yeah,
but it's been a long time since I saw it.
Yeah, it's right now it's on Shudder.
Oh, good.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. Other things and Canopy. So, yes.
There we go.
Are you okay with that? If you want, we can make it a.
Oh no,
we can pick something else.
No. That
you were going to pick that for your 70s.
I was.
And we realized so.
Then it turned out it's 80s. Totally inappropriate for the 70s. What was I thinking? I was thinking I'm going to need something
about our
weeks.
schedule. Kind of jumped everybody a little bit and synced everybody up to where
Jeff doesn't care.
Hey,
are we over
time? Yeah.
Okay, I'll cut here just a second. We're picking our films on all 3 decades of horror at the same time. Yeah. So Bill just picked 2 Dario Argento films, one in the 70s, one in the 80s. Anyway,
a love letter.
What happened?
Well, that's it, everybody.
You sure you don't have some other hidden bit of information?
We got to go. I can't believe we talked this long.
Well, I will say we talked this long because of you, Jeff. That is a fact. We were all like, okay, that's all we got to say.
Okay. Gotta go.
Well, I did throw in a couple of...
And here we are.
Crystal. And then in fairness, Crystal's like, so Jeff, you went off on a tangent. What was that all about? Okay.
I know. I did. That was dumb of me. Mistakes were made.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
I know. Mm-hmm.
Catch us again here in 2 weeks for another great horror movie of the 1980s is only decades of horror. You can do it. Say good night.
Good
night.
Good night.
Gruesome Magazine.